Very windy here at the ballpark. Cubs come in at 22-25, 5 games back of Cincinnati in the division. Cubs have played better here lately, Bob. They've won 7 of 10.
Yeah, and it really all starts with pitching. The starting pitching has been very good. Lou's been able to use his bullpen in an orderly fashion, and you see the team ERA under 3 over the last 10 ball games. They've gotten some timely hits, although the team batting average not where you'd like to see it.
And as we talk about the starting pitchers today, kind of some interesting connections. Ted Lilly began his pro career in the Dodgers system. He hasn't won since his season debut over a month ago. And John Eli doesn't throw hard, but he's had a lot of success early on.
He's had some really good secondary pitches, including that straight changeup. He's actually done better against left-handed hitters than right-handed hitters.
Well, Eli making his Wrigley Field debut. He's from Harvey, Illinois, so a lot of friends and family in attendance. We'll have Cubs baseball coming up. The rubber game today, the Dodgers and Cubs from Wrigley Field. Stay tuned. Well, there are 2 famous corners here on the north side. We all know about Clark and Addison, but we want to give a shout-out to Waveland and Sheffield as well as fans pile into the bleachers today. We're set for Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. It's a rubber match today, the Dodgers and the Cubs. And we know the Cardinals are coming to town tomorrow, but first things first, the Cubs try to get back within 2 of the 500 mark. Hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. Long night last night. The Dodgers won 8-5 after the Cubs took Game 1 3-0, and the 2 first basemen in this series have had a good one, especially Derek Lee.
Well, we're not so crazy about James Loney swinging the bat, but we're really happy to see Derek Lee swinging the bat the way he has in this series. We talk all the time about a guy busting out a slump. Sometimes it's one line drive. Derek has hit nothing but line drives in this series.
Yeah, and most people know about Derek offensively and defensively, but James Loney flying a little bit under the radar in the National League. He's a very good player.
Maybe as far as the fans go, but certainly the managers and coaches down on the field are well aware aware of James Loney and what he's capable of doing. He missed the cycle by a home run in the ball game last night. He, too, is throwing line drives from foul line to foul line.
We're set for baseball, but first, let's go down to the field. The national anthem performed today by the cast of Billy Elliot.
In support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, Lance Corporal Hawkins is currently serving with 2nd Battalion, 24th Marines. The Chicago Cubs would like to take this moment to thank Lance Corporal Carl Hawkins and every serviceman and woman for their courage and sacrifice in defending this great country. And now, Cub fans, please remain standing and join the cast of Billy Elliot the Musical, now playing at the Ford Oriental Theater, as they honor the United States by performing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So we are set for Chicago Cubs baseball here on Comcast Sportsnet. The Dodgers and the Cubs, all the action is looks to be a pitcher's day, but it doesn't always play out that way. The wind is blowing in, and Ted Lilly, a fly ball pitcher, you would think that would benefit him as he tries to get his 2nd win of the season and his first since he made his season debut over a month ago.
He's thrown well enough to win some of those starts, including his last time out. He pitched into the 7th inning against the Rangers. Gave up only 2 earned runs. Unfortunately, his offense only scored 1 for him.
Well, we have a moment. Let's take a look at the current National League Central standings. The Reds have been in first for a while now. The Cardinals lost in extras again last night. They've been beaten the last 2 days in San Diego by Jerry Hairston, who's hit a couple of home runs. Cardinals have been running into some outs on the bases, so the Cubs are within 4 of the second place St. Louis Cardinals. They play later today. They'll probably arrive here very late tonight, if not early Friday morning, for a 1:21 pitch tomorrow.
They're making that weekend series all the more important. Hopefully the Cubs can climb right back into this Central Division race and sneak up on the 2 teams ahead of them right now.
Let's check on Joe Torre's Dodgers Southwest starting lineup. The catcher is the leadoff guy, Russell Martin, with Xavier Paul batting second. Kemp, Blake, Loney, the former Cub Reed Johnson in the middle. Blake DeWitt at second. Jamie Carroll in there for Rafael Furcal, who's had a tough series. And John Eli still looking for his first major league hit.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively today, brought to you by Jimmy John's. Xavier Nady moves over to left field for the ball game today. Marlon Byrd in center. Kosuke Fukudome over in right field. Jeff Baker once again at third base. Starlin Castro at short. Ryan Theriot at second base. Derek Lee over at first base. Giovanni Soto doing the catching today for left-hander Ted Lilly. Take a look at Ted's numbers on the season. One interesting thing to watch for in Ted's starts since coming off the disabled list, the first pitch of the game has usually been a fastball in the high 70s or low 80s. Pitchers call it a batting practice fastball. He just kind of floats it up there, tries to get ahead of the count, and then go to work. Also keep an eye on his fastball velocities. He starts out the game usually in the mid to upper 80s and gradually works his way up toward that 90-mile-per-hour mark.
Umpires highlighted by Laz Diaz, who will call the balls and strikes. He worked the 2007 World Series. Russell Martin heading up to home plate. Leading off for the Dodgers for the 17th time already this season. Only Rafael Furcal is hit in the 1 spot more often. Ted Lilly, 34 years old, 6'1", 195. Originally drafted by the Dodgers. And a first pitch strike to Martin. That's outside. A 23rd round pick of the Dodgers in 1996. Ted went to Fresno City College. Grew up in Northern California near Yosemite National Park. 1-2 on the Canadian-born Russell Martin. Apparently it's warming up on the field. Feels like light jacket weather with that north wind. 2-2.
Every catcher in the National League, in major leagues for that matter, is jealous of Russell Martin. I don't see many catchers hitting leadoff.
I think over the last 10 or 12 years, Jason Kendall's name comes to mind, but that's about it.
I had the opportunity to hit leadoff 1 time in my career.
How did that go?
Not well.
Well, you did it once, so I guess, if you'd gone 5 for 5, you probably would have done it twice at least. Baker throws out Martin.
I do give Frank Robinson credit for thinking outside the box. We were struggling at the time with the Giants, and I had one of the higher on-base percentages on the team, so he batted me leadoff against the Cardinals. Me and Vince Coleman, the two leadoff hitters.
There you go. Xavier Paul, a left-handed batter, in there against the left-handed pitcher, Ted Lilly. Manny Ramirez getting the day off. The other option would have been Garrett Anderson in one of the corner spots. And Torrey going with Paul in right and Reed Johnson in left.
Definitely the best defensive outfield the Dodgers can run against an opponent. We've seen Manny have some real adventures out there in left field the first two games of this series.
A pop-up sending Terrio out into shallow right center. He's going to call off Fukudome and make the play. All important weather stats as we get started. 66 degrees. The wind out of the north at a brisk 11 miles an hour, and a cooler forecast, but still fine.
The most important thing are the wind conditions. You see 11 miles an hour pretty much blowing straight in from center field. Earlier today during batting practice, it was kind of blowing in from left, but it's turned around a little bit.
Low for ball one to Matt Kemp. Three for 7 with 2 homers against Ted Lilly for Matt Kemp. Bounce to third, it's fair. Baker with a perfect throw to Lee. And Ted works a 1-2-3 opening inning. John Eli against the Cubs for the first time in his career when we return. Brian Terrio will be in the leadoff spot. Starlin Castro batting second. The Cubs undefeated when he hit second. Lee, Bird, Fukudome, Xavier Nady, as Bob mentions, played a lot here lately. Jeff Baker in again for Ramirez at third. Soto and Lilly will round it out.
Hey, look at the Dodgers. Jimmy John's defense today. Former Cub Reed Johnson out in left field. Matt Kemp in center. Xavier Paul over in right field. Casey Blake with a big game last night will be at third base. Jamie Carroll at shortstop. Blake DeWitt at second base. James Loney also having a big series over at first base for the Dodgers. Russell Martin will be behind the plate today for right-hander. There he is, the hometown boy, basically, John Eli. Good start, sixth start of the season, rather. He's won his last 3 in a row. Features a fastball slider to the right-handed hitters, fastball change up to the lefties, and he has a real good straight change.
Look at the strikeouts to walks, 7-1. Strikeouts to walks ratio, 28 Ks, only 4 walks. You could find his bio on page 399 of the Dodger Media Guide. He's listed among all the minor leaguers. He was not really on their radar starting the season. He came over in the Juan Pierre deal with the White Sox, and strike one to Ryan Theriot. Trade happened in mid-December. He attended Miami University, that's in Ohio. Born in Harvey, Illinois. To Homewood Flossmoor. He was a White Sox fan growing up. His dad wouldn't have it any other way. Love this quote in the LA Times. My dad would have disowned me if I was a Cubs fan. It sounded like he might have considered it if that were an option in the Eli household. The 2-2 to Theriot. And a piece of Martin. And we'll do it again.
Russell Martin got hit 3 times in one at bat last night behind the plate. Takes this one right off the boiler. Theriot just got a piece of that straight changeup, fouled it right into the stomach of Russell Martin.
Little dribbler on the right side. DeWitt will get Theriot for the out.
We talked about the fact last night that Ryan Theriot has only walked once in the month of May. Lou Piniella jokingly said he was going to take his car keys and make him walk home from the ballpark just so he could get used to it.
I talked with Ryan a little bit about it before the game, and he said it did make him think about his approach. But most hitters will tell you, you don't go to the plate saying, I'm going to walk in this at bat. The idea is to swing at your pitch. And if you don't get good pitches, hopefully they're out of the zone and you walk. John, Eli is not a great candidate for a guy to take a walk off of, as you see. Just a handful in 5 starts, and he's 0-2 on Castro. Make it 0-3, struck him out. Now, if you go up looking for a walk against this guy, you're probably going to do what Castro did, be down 0-2.
A very pure delivery, really gets on top of that ball. High 3/4, almost directly over the top delivery, which makes that changeup really effective. We were told he uses it mostly against left-handed hitters, but we've seen a few of them already to the righties that started the game for the Cubs.
Backs Derek Lee off the plate, probably by design, considering the series Derek has had. So the rookie not afraid to work inside. 2-0 the count. The reason Eli is in their rotation, and you mentioned tomorrow Carlos Monasterios, right-hander in their pen, is going to start at Colorado. Vicente Padilla has a sore forearm, and knuckleballer Charlie Hager on the DL as well with a right foot injury. And John Eli has opened a lot of eyes. There's ball 4. The 5th walk of the season for the rookie. Again, Bob, that might have been the intentional walk against the hottest Cub hitter.
Well, there's no question. You go into a series, you read your advance reports, you see who's hot, who's not, and certainly the Dodgers would have to amend their report because coming into the series, Derek Lee was not hot. But after the first 2 games, I'm sure they've made an adjustment and decided they're not going to let Derek Lee beat them.
If you're Marlon Byrd, you can say, fine, go ahead, walk him all day. I'll do some damage. Curveball for a strike.
In his previous starts this year, that's a pitch that Eli has used very sparingly, that over-the-top curveball. We'll roll it up there for a strike occasionally on a left-handed hitter. That time started Marlon Byrd with a 69-mile-an-hour curve.
2-bouncer to Jamie Carroll. They'll get the out at second. And for the most part, Eli breezes through the first. 0-0 after 1. complain? No, I heard power outage in the area after a tree limb fell on a power line on North Racine. So a short delay and made for a long game last night as the Dodgers would win it 8-5. Casey Blake pops out to Jeff Baker. It wasn't a long delay, but it's interesting, Bob, whenever there is any sort of delay, whether it's rain or otherwise, it really tends to affect the pace of the game afterward. I don't know what that's about. But it was a very slowly paced ball game, especially after the delay.
Yeah, pitchers were working very slowly in the ball game last night. A lot of deep counts. A lot of ugly defense on both sides of the field. I wonder why that is. I would tend to agree with you. When you have some kind of a delay, it seems to throw the entire ball game out of rhythm, both sides of the field.
Kept feeling like the Cubs were going to come all the way back. They got within 2 late. It ended up dropping a 3-run decision. Here's the 0-1 to James Loney. That's a strike on a fastball at 85. 0-2. Right back to Lilly. They'll go 1-3. Ted pitched well enough to win his last time out 6 days ago at Texas, a 2-1 loss. He gave up 2 runs in 6 2/3 innings. A couple of good friends here battling. Lilly and Johnson. Reed 1 for 3 lifetime against Ted. You didn't have a ton of chances to face former teammate, really close friend, but you have to turn all that off. And is it easy to do that in this spot for both of these guys?
You know, I think what you find yourself doing, Len, is thinking too much. Certainly Reed Johnson knows Ted Lilly very well, and vice versa. A tendency to go up to that plate, and he knows that I like to jump on that first pitch fastball, so he's probably going to start me with a breaking pitch or something off speed, and you end up thinking yourself into a really tough at bat. But you're absolutely right. You have to separate those things. You could be facing your own brother out there on the mound, but for the time you're in that batter's box, you've got a job to do, and he's got a job to do.
Johnson had the flair for the dramatic when he was a Cub. Didn't hit a ton of home runs, but many of them were big home runs. A couple of great catches.
Well, there's no question he was an energizer too. When Reed Johnson was in the lineup, much like Marlon Byrd now for the Cubs, you knew exactly what you were going to get from him.
He deposits a base hit in the left. That's the first one for the Dodgers. In fact, the first one of the game for either team. Watch the Cubs take on the Cardinals for the first time this season. Tomorrow at Wrigley Field at 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults, 21 and older, get a Cubs washed hat, compliments of Bud Light. I know we had a late one last night. You were going to get started, but you've got to do all 10,000 after the game, right?
No problem.
Have a clothesline big enough to dry 10,000 caps after you wash them?
You know, over there on the shores of Lake Michigan, they have all the volleyball nets set up, so I figured I would just clothespin them to the volleyball nets.
Well, it's a windy day, so
shouldn't take long.
Should not take long. Have you ever been at the plate when a pitch was coming and the lights went out like Blake DeWitt had to face last night?
No.
That would be pretty scary. It ended up being ball 4.
How do we know he didn't swing at that pitch?
I guess we don't. He admitted he pretty much ignored the pitch because of everything else that was happening at that very moment in the ballpark.
See, I would have been arguing with the home plate umpire last night, Wally Bell. That was a good pitch. You can't argue with you. He probably didn't see it.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2-out single by Johnson. No runs as Lily fans his first of.
Bank One ballpark in Arizona. That's one thing when a hitter gets locked in at the plate, like Derek Lee is right now, 6 of his last 8. But when you get locked in with your home run swing and can hit 10 bombs in 7 days, that's a streak that you'd like to stay in forever.
And Sean Green had a 4-homer game during that stretch. Kosuke hitting 5th. I seem to recall that's how he began his Cubs career. He was not a top of the order guy. When he first came over, that's what he has become, but he's in the 5th spot today. And Eli's first pitch of the 2nd inning, outside corner and a strike. Guys like to wear their jerseys maybe a size too big. It looks like Eli likes his jersey small. He doesn't like sleeves. He's pushing his sleeves up, showing off his cans.
Which way to the gun show?
A fly ball to center as Kemp throws initially, now comes in, makes the basket grab. As the wind's pushing everything back toward home plate. It's got the flip downs. The sun is not an issue, but the clouds are bright white.
Kind of a bright overcast, and that wind howling straight in from center field forces Matt Kemp to do a Willie Mays catch out there in shallow center field. He turned to Reed Johnson in left and said, wow.
Ball 1 to Xavier Nady. He's playing left in for Alfonso Soriano. A couple of injury notes. Mike Fontenot got hit on the right hand. Didn't appear to be serious. He didn't have it wrapped or anything during the pregame drills. Should be available today off the bench if needed. And Ramos Ramirez is going to swing the bat in the cage today, and Lou before he got word after he hit. He was talking to the media before Ramos went out to the cage, said if all goes well, he might be available again tomorrow to start and potentially to pinch hit today. If he doesn't pinch hit today, as Nady strikes out in an obvious spot where you would want to use a Ramos, that might be a clue to us that the DL is possible because of what you mentioned last night. If you think there's a chance you have to make a roster move, you would like to be able to backdate it. So we'll see.
Yeah. Ramos' last appearance came in Texas last Saturday, so tomorrow would be 7 full days if they decided to put him on the disabled list. He'd only have to spend really 1 week, 7 more days on the DL, and that's certainly a lot more palatable than using him as a pinch hitter perhaps today or tomorrow and then putting him on the DL for the full 14 days.
And on the flip side, if he does pinch hit today, there's a strong chance he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow. Baker pops it up. And Casey Blake will make the catch. John Eli has been very impressive through 2. He's battling Ted Lilly in a scoreless tie. Cast Sportsnet Saturday after Game 1 for Smirnoff Blackhawks post-game live. It highlights analysis, locker room interviews, and Coach Q's post-game remarks. Smirnoff Blackhawks post-game live Saturday at 9:30 and after every Hawks game on Comcast Sportsnet. Jamie Carroll getting the start at short. He did a really nice job filling in for Rafael Furcal when Furcal was on the DL. The Dodgers went 17-8 with Furcal out of the lineup. Jamie Carroll would be, I guess, best described as a grinder, a pesky hitter.
Good career numbers against Ted Lilly, and while he was filling in for the injured Rafael Furcal, Jamie Carroll carrying a .282 batting average into play today, drove in 10 runs. You need that Band-Aid. You need a guy that can play multiple positions, do things the right way, move runners, get down bunts, steal a base from time to time, play solid defense, and Jamie Carroll has done that for the Dodgers this year.
Pops it into right, wind pushing it out of play. Probably that would have been a routine catch for Fukudome. Jamie Carroll has 12 career home runs. 3 of them have come against the Cubs. He has not hit more than 1 against any other team. 2 have been here at Wrigley, and in fact, he had 3 in a row against the Cubs. September 30th of 06 off Juan Mateo at Wrigley. June 26th of 07 off Ted Lilly here at Wrigley, and then against Rich Hill in Colorado on August 11th of 07. Full count, 3-2 with the pitcher Eli on deck. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Don't miss your chance to be part of the brand new PNC Club of Chicago. The new club, located down the third base line, offers high-end catering, a top-shelf bar, indoor and outdoor seating, and other benefits that allow for a truly all-inclusive game day experience. Membership also includes parking for every home game. To reserve your season tickets in the PNC Club of Chicago, call 773-404-4200. I'll tell you, Len, retiring that number 8 hitter to lead off an inning is always huge. It forces that pitcher to come up to the plate. He doesn't have the option of putting down a sac bunt. He's got to swing the bat. We don't know what kind of hitter Eli is, but much prefer to have him at the plate with 1 out and nobody on than an opportunity to put down a sac bunt.
Deep breath by Ted. Long, slow windup. Downstairs, 2-1. Fouled back to make it 2-2. Bounce to Lee. And he'll tag the bag in plenty of time. First time through the order, only a 2-out single in the second. So Lilly faring well here in the early going. It's Russell Martin with 2 outs.
I've talked about Ted Lilly's velocity on his fastball repeatedly since he's come back from the disabled list. And even though he doesn't have the same fastball we've seen from him in the past, I think he's doing a much better job this year of varying the speeds on his fastball.
Fukudome makes a catch. Martin's made a lot of outs in this series, swinging at that first pitch. Bottom 3, it'll be Soto to lead off. 0-0. The first 10,000 fans in a Cubs lapel pin. Compliments of Bank of America. Happy 55th birthday to the radio voice of the Cubs, Pat Hughes. Did you get some birthday cake in the back of the press box? It looks good.
It looks good. I had to pass today.
5-time Illinois Sportscaster of the Year. And a happy birthday to our colleague Beth Atkinson, enjoying the game as a fan today. Sharing the birthday of Frank Thomas and Jeff Bagwell.
We saw that Jeff Bagwell is going to represent the Houston Astros at the player draft in June. I think Billy Williams is going to represent the Cubs along with some other front office personnel.
Ball 1 to Giovanni Soto, who snapped in 0 for 20 last night. And his lone at bat, he singled, coming off the bench. How about Jeff Bagwell and Frank Thomas? Not only did they share the same birthday, it was literally the same birthday, May 27th, 1968. Both have the Hall of Fame careers. They'll both get in. Paul made the catch. Normally that's going to be a Matt Kemp play, but the wind pushed it right over to right field. I love watching Ted Lilly hit. Doesn't always end up in his favor, but it's fun to watch.
See, for me, instead of saying I love to watch Ted Lilly hit, I say I love to watch Ted take his at-bats, because he doesn't always hit. But it's not
to watch him swing.
Yeah, it's not due to a lack of trying, that's for sure.
High ball to right. Trouble. Yep, Paul coming over, and he made the catch, stumbling over the mound. It ended up being a foul ball, but he made a heck of a catch. Jake DeWitt got out there as well.
We talked about Xavier Paul the other night. He was voted the best defensive outfielder in the Dodgers organization a couple of years ago, and displays why right here. A long way to run. Has to avoid his own second baseman, sliding across that bullpen mound, but able to hang on for the out.
I'm telling you, Bob, I think that ball landed about 100, maybe 120 feet from where it should have landed with no wind. Ted hit it pretty well. I think he would have hit it where Paul is currently standing, if not behind his position. He had to run a long way to go get it. Terrio down 0-2. A little bit up according to Laz Diaz, 1-2. Still looking for his first homer. Average down here in May. Boy, Eli surrounding the plate, 2-2. Need a little magic marker to fill in his sideburns.
This is our first look at Eli, but he's been very impressive. He has good command of that fastball. He's thrown it to every quadrant of the strike zone and around the edges of the zone. Straight changeup comes as advertised. That is a plus pitch for him.
Well, the 3 times he has missed in this at bat, I mean by half a baseball. Tapped in front of the plate.
Oh, boy.
That would be a good look for you, Bob.
I'm working my way towards it.
Nothing after 3.
Feast. Feed up to 5 fans or 1 broadcaster with the KFC Fan Feast, only $19.99.
Paul Kemp and Blake against Ted Lilly. We're in the 4th inning in a scoreless tie. Only 1 hit belonging to Reed Johnson. And if it's the first time you've caught a Cubs game this year, that's Reed Johnson of the Dodgers. Fly ball deep to left. Nady going back on it, and he's going to have room right in the middle of the warning track for the out. They're kind of spinning into the wind, trying to hit one out to left or center today. AT&T trivia time. Who was the first Major League pitcher to come out of Homewood Flossmoor High School? John Eli went to Homewood Flossmoor. The answer coming up.
I just love this pitching matchup today. You know, in this era where Major League Baseball is making such an effort to eliminate performance-enhancing drugs, and we've got an Eli Lilly matchup. The pharmacist special.
And the fastest fastball probably won't even hit 90. That's a strike at the knees.
And you can see that velocity that time, 87. Ted gradually starts boosting that velocity. The deeper he gets into the start, the harder he throws. And I've touched on it in his last inning of work. He's really done a nice job of changing speeds on his fastball. He'll throw some in the high 70s.
Bird will get it.
He'll gradually get it up in the mid to upper 80s, but every now and again he'll throw that 77-mile-an-hour batting practice fastball, and the hitter will screw himself into the ground trying to hit it out of the ballpark, and usually ends up popping it up.
You've been working on the Eli Lilly line for a while. You'd probably love to see that matchup on the sheet. Two quick outs. It's Blake. Ball 1. And he's ready to hit. Got his batting gloves on here in the 4th inning.
Probably getting ready just in case Joe Torre wants to put him in for defensive purposes. I don't think the Dodgers could have a big enough lead to put Manny in for defensive purposes.
The 2-0 on the way is a strike. 2-1 the count. Another game going on right now. Astros 2, Brewers 2 in the top of the 6th in Milwaukee. Bad news for Brewer catcher Greg Zahn. He has a labrum tear in his right shoulder. He might be done for the year. Inside corner, 3-2. Base hit out into left center. Both the Dodger hits have come after 2 were out.
Casey Blake has been a good player at the major league level for a long time. Very solid fundamental player. Gives you good at bat every time up there to the plate. Very underrated, unsung role player for any team that he happens to be on.
Pitch to Loney a little high. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, 2 control pitchers, and you certainly want to avoid walks today. You want to make these hitters earn their way on. It's the kind of day where you might need 3 straight hits to score a run. Played possibly their worst defensive game of the year last night. Need to play strong defense as well.
Neither manager likes to give up outs with the sacrifice bunt unless they absolutely have to, but the deeper we get into this ball game, if it remains scoreless under these conditions, both managers may have to give in a little bit and possibly put down a sac bunt if they get a leadoff runner on base.
Teddy's 2-1 pitch is hit foul, 2-2. Lilly is 25-12 in 52 starts following up a Cubs defeat. And the team, more importantly, is gone 33-19 in those games. Ted's from California, and he's gone 11-4 in his career against teams from his home state. And that holds up here today. The final year of his 4-year contract. $4 years, $40 million. It's turned into a nice bargain for the Cubs. Popped into right. Fukudome. For the 3rd out. Castro, Lee, and Bird coming up in the bottom of the 4th. Dodgers nothing, Cubs nothing. Surface of the infield between innings. Will lead us into our AT&T trivia answer. First major league pitcher to come out of Homewood Flossmoor High School.
No clue. Hey,
Larry Rothschild,
there you go.
Former Detroit Tiger. In 81 and 82, one of his teammates was Alan Trammell. Larry now in his 9th year as the Cubs pitching coach. Oh, he caught it! John Eli just robbed Starlin Castro with an amazing catch. Playing self-defense. There's no way he saw it. Wow. It was right at his head, basically, as he went down.
Yeah, he ends up almost crouched like a catcher in his follow through here. He goes down, turns his head away from the ball. Actually, the ball caught him, I believe, hit him right in the glove.
The Cubs still without a hit. Only one base runner. That was Derek Lee, who walked in the first. Swing and a miss. Tap toward first, and it's going to kick foul. Good thing for Derek. He would have been an easy out. Everything we've read about John Eli, he has shown today. And he knows how to pitch.
We were told he's not overpowering with any of his stuff. His fastball is in the upper 80s. Got that good straight changeup. He's thrown some really nice curveballs in this game. We haven't really seen too many sliders. Hasn't really needed that pitch too often.
He's gone at least 6 innings every time out. Last 4, he has not allowed more than 2 runs. And every Dodgers starter in this series came into his start having won 3 consecutive outings, and that's the case for Eli today. That'll be the first Cubs hit, right field corner, chased down by Paul, and it'll be a double for Derek. 7 hits in the set.
We talked about Derek Lee and James Loney. One of the things that they have in common that makes them such good hitters is their willingness to hit the ball wherever it's pitched. Derek Lee's had a number of his hits in this series go to right field, including his home run on Tuesday. And James Loney is right out of the same mold. He'll spray balls from the left field foul line all the way to his pull field in right.
A couple of shots are getting the lead here with a runner in scoring position for the first time. Ground ball to Blake, and he's up with it and gets Marlin by a step and a half. That leaves it up to Kosuke. Similar numbers to Ryan Theriot in that he hit in the 300s in April, but his average has gone down quite a bit here in May.
What flavor lip gloss are you using today? You like to borrow it? No, that's all right.
I'll let you borrow a pen, but not the lip balm.
Not as far as I'd want to go. Thanks.
Into left, and a shoestring catch by Reed Johnson. Probably saved a run. Well, we know Reed can go get him, and he did right there to Rob Kosuke. He's the guy who robbed Kosuke of a potential RBI single. Reed Johnson. Let's talk about guys making a great defensive play and leading off the next half inning. Well, you have a 1 in 9 chance.
What really made the play right there was Reed Johnson's ability to get a great jump on that sinking line drive. If he hesitates at all, that ball's down on the ground for a possible RBI base hit. But we know Reed gets tremendous jumps on the ball no matter which outfield position he happens to be playing.
Pretty acrobatic in the outfield. Not a big surprise. He was surprised. He was a gymnast as a young child. Excellent high school soccer player.
Makes his home in the Las Vegas area in the wintertime and gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning to work out with a guy who trains mixed martial artists.
He draws the leadoff walk. He's a mixed martial artist, someone who draws pictures of Ultimate Fighters.
Yeah, with crayons or paint.
Right. How aggressive the Dodgers are here. They haven't had many chances. They have not put a runner as far as second base yet. Ted will lollipop it over to check on Reed. Last time Johnson was on, I noticed as Willie struck out Blake DeWitt to end the inning, Reed was having a tough time reading R-E-A-D-I-N-G Ted's move to first.
We have seen some teams try to use the delayed steal against Ted Lilly. It is rather tough to get a jump if you go based on what you see from his move to home plate, his move to first. But a lot of base runners we've seen this season use the delayed steal where they wait until Ted actually delivers the ball to home plate, take a couple of big hops off the bag over there at first base, and then break for second when the ball gets into the hitting zone.
Throw over there. Controversy in Cleveland yesterday. A couple of balk calls on Mark Burley. Can you give us the Cliff's Notes version of what you can and can't do as a left-handed pitcher as you throw to first?
I can try. I mean, basically, a left-handed pitcher with his left foot on the rubber has to step no more than a 45-degree angle toward first base. If it's more than 45 degrees, that's considered a movement toward home plate, and you have to deliver the ball to the plate. The sticky point is the right foot. Does the right foot cross over the rubber in the delivery to first base? If that right foot crosses the rubber, by rule, you're required to throw the ball to home plate. Now, where it gets interesting is DeWitt goes down on strikes. Some pitchers have the ability to cross their knee behind the rubber and keep their foot on the home plate side of the rubber. And I think that was the issue with Mark Burley, at least on one of those balk calls yesterday. His knee clearly crossed the plane of the rubber, but it looked to me like his foot did not. So from that position, you can throw to first base. And if you talk to 100 umpires, you'll probably get 100 different descriptions of a balk on a left-handed pitcher. Very much a subjective thing in my experience.
Yeah, and sometimes it just doesn't look right.
It looks funny.
Well, what year was it? 88, 89, maybe, the year of the balk? It got really out of hand. A lot of that was getting pitchers to come to a set position. as they work from the stretch.
I believe the terminology in the rule book is a discernible stop. An umpire has to be able to tell that you have come to some kind of a set position before either delivering the ball home or a pickoff attempt to first base. But as you were saying, back in the late 80s, a lot of pitchers were just coming up into their set position and they never really came to a full stop. They glide right into their delivery to home plate, and that's when they started calling a whole bunch of balks.
One and two on Carroll. The kick and the pitch just missed. 3 strikeouts for Lilly, all coming against the 7 and 8 hitters in this Dodger lineup. Reed Johnson has acted like he's not going to run here in this spot. The pitcher's on deck. The Dodgers haven't lost a series in a while, since May 4th through the 6th, when they dropped 2 of 3 to Milwaukee. Trying to win their 6th in the last 7. The only time they didn't win a series, they split a 2-gamer against the Padres last week. That's how hot this team has been. Runner goes on the 3-2, a foul pop-up, and no play for Derek. LA has won 15 of 19 and a Major League best 17 and 6 in May.
Talked to some advanced scouts at the end of April who had seen the Dodgers several times in the first month of the season, and it's been quite a turnaround. They were a very lackluster ball club. Guys were walking on and off the field between innings. Just didn't seem to be a lot of energy.
2 walks in the inning. There's a little public back and forth between Matt Kemp and the GM, Ned Colletti. But they have gotten things going. Certainly has started with their pitching. So Eli gets some words of advice from Larry Boa down at third base. And a pretty good chance he's going to try to bunt both runners into scoring position for Russell Martin.
We've seen the Cubs mix up their bunt defenses more recently, especially with Ramos Ramirez not in the lineup. Traditionally, they've just used the regular bunt defense play with runners at first and second. Be fouled down the third base line, but we've seen with Mike Fontenot and Jeff Baker playing third base, Lou has put the wheel play on a couple times depending on the opposing personnel and where you want to try to get the out. Eli will definitely be trying to drop that ball down the third base line and force Baker to come in and make the play unless the wheel play is on. And as a hitter, you read the shortstop. Everything keys off of the shortstop. If you see that shortstop holding his position there, then you know it's the regular bunt defense play. If you see the shortstop break for third, then you know the third baseman is probably charging hard from his position.
Baker's going to pick it up. It might have rolled foul, but he did not want to take a chance.
Different teams view it differently, but I've always been of a mind, if the other team's going to give you an out, take the out. Jeff Baker could have let that ball roll. It probably would have gone into foul territory. And then you've got the pitcher at the plate with 2 strikes on him. Ideally, you end up with 2 outs in the inning, but I say if they're going to offer you an out, take the out. I have to say that based on what we've seen from Russell Martin in this series, watch the first pitch. He has been hyper aggressive at the plate in this series, swinging at a lot of first pitches.
Inside, ball one. You see a lot of guys with a pretty good average when they put a ball in play on that first pitch. Swinging away at the second pitch. He fouled it off. Kosuke Fukudome hitting .500 when he puts the first pitch in play. Ryan Theriot at .400, 14 for 35. Doesn't mean you should swing at the first pitch. A lot of times you swing and miss or hit it foul. Ted going, looked pretty good to me.
Well, and a little bit of a danger here. You never really anticipate anybody trying to steal home, but Ted Lilly working out of the windup with runners on at second and third. And we know how slow Teddy can be to the plate when he's using that full windup.
Snagged by Soto. This might be a workaround. You've got a lefty on deck, Paul, with first base open.
Catcher's range, very underrated part of a catcher's game, but the ability to come out of that crouch and corral a pitch like that and keep it from going to the backstop, very, very important.
So they will intentionally walk Martin, which means Lilly has walked the bases loaded. Paul is from Mike Fontenot's hometown, Slidell, Louisiana. Here we go, bases loaded, 2 outs, and an inside corner strike.
With his 2 at-bats in this ball game already, Paul only has 4 ABs against left-handed pitching all season long. He gets most of his playing time against the right-handed starters.
He's not taking the bat off his shoulders here in this at bat.
Nothing tricky here, just a challenge fastball right in the middle of the plate, middle of the thighs. Boy, Ted Lilly has a bunch of different directions he can go right now. And with that in mind, Giovanni Soto wants to go out and talk it over to make sure they're on the same page and they know exactly how they want to go about putting away the Dodger right fielder. We've seen Ted Lilly throw that elevated fastball up above the letters in 2 strike counts. We've seen him throw that big roundhouse curveball in the dirt. Occasionally he'll try to sneak that slider in the front door, throw it right at the front leg of the left-handed hitter and break it across the inside corner.
Paul asked for time and got it from Laz Diaz for this very important 0-2 pitch. Here it comes, and he stayed alive.
Just tried to sneak a fastball by Paul on the outside corner that time. The defensive swing produced a foul ball up into the upper deck where a fan made a real nice play leaning out over the railing.
Just away. 1-2. As you always say, if you're going to miss in your favor.
Tried to hit that outside corner. If he doesn't, he wants to miss further off the plate away, and he didn't miss by much.
A pop-up behind second base. Starlin Castro puts it away. They leave him loaded. And on the other side, John Eli has been very impressive.
You know, historically, Len, the Cubs have had problems against pitchers that they don't have a lot of information other than the scouting report and maybe a little bit of videotape. And it's been a learning experience in the early going. And one thing they've learned is John Eli is pretty good.
He's also got some good defense. He made an excellent play. Reed Johnson, Xavier Paul with good catches. And we've only seen 3 hits the entire day, as Xavier Nady will lead off the inning. 5th start today in his last, the Cubs' last 6 games. And the right-hander deals. Strike 1. Been well documented. Nady has had 2 Tommy John surgeries on his throwing elbow. That's the right one. And essentially that main ligament, the big one in the ulnar collateral ligament, has to be replaced. And the first Tommy John surgery, they used a tendon from one of his Achilles. And the second one, they went into his hamstring. Picked up by Carroll. He'll get the out. I guess we have a third one. They just keep finding other body parts. Hopefully that won't happen.
Well, this shows you how much I know about Tommy John surgeries. I asked our trainer in Arizona one time, if you're going to do a Tommy John surgery on a pitcher, why wouldn't you use like a tendon from a cow or something that's just super heavy duty? He said, first of all, we frown upon putting animal parts into human beings, but so it just wouldn't operate the same way as a human tendon works in the human body. Always trying to think a little bit ahead of the curve.
Right. Nice going. maybe a synthetic.
Yeah, there you go. A rayon tendon.
A 1-1 to Baker. Just off the outside corner. Eli has been anything but wild. And he has missed the strike zone. It hasn't been by much. It's about as badly as he's missed. 3-1. .6'2", 200 pounds. Recently turned 24 years old. Swung on and missed. And a full count. I'd like to tell you, once you get through today, it'll get easier, but no. Chris Carpenter tomorrow. Great matchup. Randy Wells and Chris Carpenter. It's driven deep. Johnson going back on it on the warning track, and he's going to haul it in before running into the door. About as well as Baker can hit a ball, but again, today's not the day.
The bad news is Reed Johnson was able to run down that drive off the bat of Jeff Baker. The good news is Jeff Baker's making some really loud contact at the plate the last couple of days. Chasing Reed Johnson all the way to the vines out there in left field, and Eli loves it.
Martin didn't get a good handle on it, but the home plate umpire got a good look at it and called it a strike. That's one as a catcher, you say thanks, don't you? And as Loney will get the out. Sometimes that's how the catcher catches it. 1, 2, 3 go the Cubs. 0-0 as we head to the 6th. Into Wrigley. Tune in as Starlin Castro and the Cubs clash with Albert Pujols and the Cards. Coverage starts at 12:30 with Chevy Cubs pregame live. Cubs and Cards Sunday at 12:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Middle of the order here, Matt Kemp against Ted Lilly. Called strike. Three hits total. Johnson and Blake with singles for the Dodgers. Lee with a double for the home team. Carlos Zambrano should be available today if needed. He will end up back in the rotation sometime next week on the upcoming road trip. Big cut by Matt Kemp. 1 and 2. Going in. It's not where Ted wanted it. I guess that's what a day off looks like.
How about this, Len? We want to send a special hello, rather, to Flora Fife, who was a World War II veteran, here at the ball game today with her son Dan Hartenbauer, who was a Vietnam veteran, and her great-grandson Jason Hartenbauer, who was a Gulf War vet. Congratulations and thanks to all of you.
Well, great to have you here. Outside, 3 and 2. Lily walked 3. One was intentionally in the 5th. Coming back on a 3-2 and hit foul. You notice Ted is working from the third base side of the rubber against some lefties. He'll go over to the first base side. Some pitchers pretty much stay in the same spot. Ted will move around.
Geometry wasn't my strong suit, but even the width of that pitching rubber changes the angle on the pitches as they get into that hitting zone.
Fukudome and right. Ooh, battling the sun. The Hawks are in the Stanley Cup Finals. Now's your chance to win tickets to see Game 1 inside the UC. Text playoffs to B-Hawks. It's 242-957 to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered to win a pair of tickets to watch the Blackhawks play in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's playoffs to 242-957. The Art Institute, the Lions are not only wearing the Blackhawks helmet, but they have a visor on. Check those eyes. And Nady laying out. He keeps it in front of him. Blake's going to make the turn. He's going to hold with a single. Second hit of the day for Casey Blake.
Well, that ball was sinking from the moment it left the bat out there in front of Xavier Nady. Tries to make the diving, sliding catch. That's one thing about those outfielders' gloves. They're a little bit longer than the infielders' gloves, ideally so you can go up above the fence and take some home runs away. But on those diving plays, there's not really enough rigidity to the glove for the ball to stay in it. You could see that glove bent backwards as Xavier Nady made contact with the ground.
And you see Ted is over on the first base side against the lefty Loney. Low and away. 1-0 on the Dodger first baseman. Hey, Bob, is a college player named Garrett Whittles, plays at Florida International. And last night against South Alabama, his team lost 7-1. And you say, well, why does that matter? Well, he extended a hitting streak to 49 games. He went hitless in his first 3 at-bats, ended up with a leadoff double in the 9th. If he can hit in 9 more straight, he'll tie Robin Ventura's all-time college record, which was a 58-game hitting streak in 1987 for Oklahoma State. I don't care if you have an aluminum bat or not. That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't care what level you're talking about to be able to get hits in, what was it, 49 straight?
49. He's going for 50 today. I guess FIU is in an elimination game today. Doesn't say what year he is in college. If he'll get a chance, if he finishes the season, to extend that next year. Not really sure. Nady drifting over, and he'll get it near the line. Loney, after a big night last night, 0 for 3 against the lefty Lilly. Johnson 1 for 1 with a walk. Astros leading the Brewers 3-2 in the last of the 8th in Milwaukee. The Rockies got 3 in the first against Arizona. Troy Tulowitzki with a 2-run homer in that inning off Dan Herron. They're now on the top of the 3rd, 3-zip Rockies. Washington batting in the top of the 1st. And they have plated 1 against Barry Zito. Greg Stammen pitching for the Nationals today. Tim Lincecum, who lost last night, has walked 5 batters in each of his last 3 starts. I guess he's human.
That's good for the rest of the league to know. The very unique mechanics that Tim Lincecum uses, unlike any other pitcher in the major leagues, and there's some reports that his mechanics have come apart a little bit.
Are they claiming Ted Lilly is balking? Well, John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, is really letting Casey Blake have it. Mariano Duncan playing the peacemaker. Not sure what Casey Blake said, but it really set off Hirschbeck.
Joe Torre has come out to play the peacemaker here with John Hirschbeck and his third baseman Casey Blake. And we're not sure the origin of this argument. It may have some historical merit. Maybe something indicating and pointing at Ted Lilly on the mound. You saw his hands about 6 inches apart there. Not really sure. Ted's totally unconcerned. He's out there on the mound playing catch with Jeff Baker at third base while this argument continues over at first.
Cooler heads are prevailing. John Hirschbeck got right up in Casey Blake's business there as Mariano Duncan was separating the two.
I was thinking that as we saw the White Sox have their minor meltdown yesterday after the 2 balk calls and Ozzie got ejected. It's starting to get that time of year when the weather heats up and the tempers heat up a little bit too.
Down along the right field line, and a sliding grab by Theriot and foul ground, and that will end the inning. Seen some nice Visit Cubs.com. Click on the CBOE front row seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first base line. Front row seats will be auctioned off to every game all season long. Don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com and check out the CBOE front row auction today. Congrats to Nicholas Leone, graduating from the 8th grade at Bryan Middle School. His dad, Frank, in attendance today. Colleagues on our crew. One strike to Ted Lilly. Bottom 6. And a scoreless tie. Nice curveball from Eli. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Only the third punch out for Eli. He's shown impeccable command throughout. Watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Phillies and Mets a little later tonight in New York. The Phillies have been shut out 3 times in their last 4 games. Lead the Braves by 2.5 in the East. Seems like Kyle Loesch is probably going to have surgery for this forearm injury. It's going to knock him out of his weekend start against the Cubs, and probably a lot more than that. Cardinals are to be determined on Saturday, as Carlos Silva will pitch for the Cubs. Terrio grounds out for the 3rd time. 2 away. It's up to Castro to keep this inning going. How about Boston? You see they swept Tampa Bay. So they've gone from 8.5 out to 5.5 back. It's still very early, but the Red Sox are playing very well. David Ortiz seems to be back. And the Red Sox are 23-12 since they were swept in April at home in a 4-gamer by the Rays. Boston hosting Kansas City tonight. Line and caught as it glanced off the glove of DeWitt. And he had the presence of mind to stay with it and make the catch. So Castro has lined out hard his last 2 at-bats. Still scoreless after. Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Blake DeWitt with an excellent catch on a line shot off the bat of Starlin Castro. It glanced off his glove, and then he was able to get it before it hit the ground. 1-1 on DeWitt. Fouled off.
Ball hit right off the heel of his glove, but bounced straight up in the air where he could keep an eye on it and ultimately make a diving catch on a ball that he deflected to himself.
I don't believe he gets an assist. Just the put out. We've seen some really good defense in this game. Strikeout for Ted. Day for DeWitt at the plate.
Yeah, I was going to say 4 punch outs on the day for Ted Lilly. 3 of them against Blake DeWitt. Change up inside to a left-handed hitter. Got Blake DeWitt way out in front that time.
Willie Garson, the stars of Sex and the City 2, which opens in theaters today. Conduct the 7th inning stretch. It was one of your favorite shows.
You think?
I know somebody in your household likes that series and movies.
Yeah, you've got that absolutely right. Try to find other things to do during that half hour of the day.
Three and 1 to Carroll. The pitcher's on deck, but I don't think Joe Torre has much interest in hitting for John Eli, who's thrown been very efficient with his pitches. 71 over 6 innings.
And Eli's only pitched to 3 batters in this ball game out of the stretch position. We'd love to see the Cubs get the leadoff man in the bottom half of the inning and force him into that stretch right away. See if it makes any difference in his delivery and his pitches and his location.
Bouncer cut off by Baker. Just got him. The Dodgers are not too happy with John Hirschbeck right now.
Jeff Baker took just an extra tick to get that ball out of his glove, cutting across in front of Castro, and Carroll hustling down the line thought he had beaten it there at first base.
Fouled back, 0-2. Barehanded grab by a fan in the front row in the upper deck. That was impressive. Called strike 3 on the curve. Stretch time.
2 after Willie Garson. All right, Cubs fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Bodies of peanuts and crackers.
The Wrigley Field Mezzanine Suites, presented by Nuveen Investments. Suites are available now for games during the season. To book your suite or for more info, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200. 0-0 in the 7th. A very well-pitched ball game on both sides, and making his Wrigley Field debut, not only John Eli, but Willie Garson. Sex in the City 2.
My raucous debut. You saw my fantastic first pitch.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely inspiring, awe-inspiring.
That's one way to put it, yes.
Yes.
Well, you fired up the pitchers. They're both throwing shutouts.
Exactly.
They must have watched your first pitch.
It's also an amazing defensive game, both teams. Amazing today.
Yeah, we've seen some excellent plays. So Eli against Derek Lee. We'll also see Marlon Byrd and Kosuke Fukudome here in the 7th. Oh, it's a first thing you noticed, Willie, when you walked into Wrigley Field.
The sky boxes, the apartment buildings with seating on it. Absolutely fantastic. Best invention I've ever seen at a ballpark. And if I owned one, I'd charge $1 less than the other guy. That would be my business philosophy.
Well, that would be a novelty.
Yeah. What we got? 2-1.
2-1 on Derek.
Have you ever sat up there?
I have not. No,
we have not done the rooftop yet.
We send our camera guys over there from time to time, but I haven't been over there yet.
3-1. Nice. We're gonna get on here.
Well, that's a goal. There haven't been a lot of chances.
Now that I'm a crazed Cubs fan, I'm completely out of control.
Now he is wide of third. You were born in New Jersey, so East Coast guy then?
I am an East Coast guy. My dad was a big Yankee fan. I was a Mets fan. There was a lot of arguing in our house.
Some of it about baseball?
Yeah, exactly.
3-2, ball 4. The leadoff man is on here in the 7th. And that is the first time the Cubs have put the leadoff man on base. And Derek Lee has reached all 3 times.
Well, that's what we were hoping for. The Cubs hadn't had a leadoff man on in this ball game, and as I mentioned in the last half inning, Eli's only thrown out of the stretch to 3 batters in this game.
I feel like I really fired up the crowd and the club.
I don't think there's any question about it.
Yeah.
The 7th inning stretch always does, and sang it with a lot of gusto. That's the key.
If only I'd done it with my... Oh.
Derek running, and he's going to be out.
Oh. If only I had tossed out that first pitch with the gusto with which I sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." That would have been fantastic.
Well, Derek's looking back. So the question is, Bob, was it a hit and run that didn't pan out?
I'd have to guess that that's a broken hit and run. I'm assuming Marlon Byrd was the guy that perhaps missed the sign right there, because Derek was looking back to home plate almost halfway to second, expecting the batter at the plate, Marlon Byrd, to do something to protect him, but unfortunately got thrown out by a mile at second base.
So 1-1 on Marlon Byrd. Nobody on. Cubs trying to be aggressive here in this tie game. Ground ball to short. This will be no problem for Carroll. So tell us about the sequel, Willie. What can the fans expect?
Well, I thought you wanted to talk about the sequel to Fever Pitch. We're going to move it here to Chicago. Maybe bring that.
That's a good idea.
Maybe bring that insane luck that we brought to Boston. The sequel's great. Sex in the City has it's a fan-driven piece. It's really, really funny. And the early screenings have been a real delight. The fans just love it. We make it for them. And there's something for everyone. Very, very funny. Beautiful women to look at. Women feeling powerful, which is great for the girls. And it's great. So I think we're going to have a good run with this.
I also have to mention, you have played Lee Harvey Oswald. I went to Dealey Plaza and the 6th floor last weekend when we were in Dallas, the Rangers in Arlington. That was quite a tour.
Wow, yeah, it's pretty amazing. I was up in that window with a rifle in a movie. I mean, not in real life.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess you could. Yes, you could pull it off.
About 20 years ago, I looked very much like him. Now that I'm in my 70s. Whoa.
Ace hit to keep the inning alive. Well, Willie, we appreciate you stopping by. Best of luck.
Well,
so we move forward, and hope you come back to Wrigley Field many more times.
I will. This has been a real treat. What a great stadium. Thanks, guys.
Best of luck with the sequel as well.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Willie.
it.
Willie Garson.
All right. Bye-bye.
Xavier Nady with 2 outs. Cubs have had 2 base runners in this inning, but only one at a time after Derek Lee was caught stealing following a leadoff walk. And Eli taking a look at Fukudome after he stepped off. Bob, we have breaking news.
Bring it on.
Big. Are you sitting?
Yes, I am.
The time of game for last night's contest has been changed.
Oh, no.
From 3:42 to 3:24. The 18-minute power outage delay has been deducted from the time of game. I know that kept you up late last night.
I'm going to have to amend my scorecards from last night.
Now back to the action. Nady lines. It's going to hold up right to Reed Johnson. They've squared up a few against this rookie righty John Eli, but most of them have been outs. Off to the 8th. No score. With a pick, robbing Starlin Castro. Reed Johnson coming in, making a really nice play as the Cubs are trying to grab the lead. Terrio's sliding into foul ground and then break the whip, reflecting the ball to himself. And some changes here late. Tyler Colvin into play left, and he's going to hit 9. Nady made the last out of the 7th, so Sean Marshall will go into his spot. The lefty will do the pitching after Ted Lilly went 7 shutout. Theodore was excellent today. Yes, the conditions were conducive to good pitching, but It's the best we've seen him. All 3 walks came in 1 inning. And it's rolled into left. A leadoff single for Russell Martin.
With a left-handed hitting Xavier Paul making his way to the plate in a 0-0 ball game with the leadoff man on, I think we're going to see a sacrifice bunt attempt here. Paul, as I mentioned, hasn't had many at-bats against left-handed pitching at all this season. And with the Sean Marshall breaking pitches that he can feature against a left-handed hitter, I think we're going to see a sac bunt attempt right here. Jeff Baker thinking along those same lines. He's about 5 or 6 feet in front of the bag at third and will charge hard on delivery.
There's the bunt, and it's foul.
Paul doing the right thing that time, trying to bunt the ball to the first base side, which could be problematic for the Cubs if Sean Marshall picks up the baseball. Being a left-handed thrower, if he fields the ball on the right side of the infield, he's going to have to turn his body or spin all the way around with his back to first base to make that throw on to Ryan Theriot or Derek Lee at first base.
Good effort by Soto.
Ball wasn't popped very high in the air behind home plate. Soto sees it, tries to get after it, actually tripped over the batter, Xavier Paul, who held his feet right there in the left-handed batter's box. He didn't do anything illegal, no intent there.
Lou is chatting with Jeff Baker.
So Baker's going to come out of the ball game.
We hope he's all right. Now, Lou came out, but never did see Mark O'Neill or Ed Halbert come out.
If you watch Jeff Baker on this Russell Martin base hit through the left side, he never moved. I'm not sure if he didn't see the baseball or there was something else happening down there, but after the foul popped bunt right there, Jeff Baker took himself out of the ball game. Hope that's something very temporary.
Well, it's permanent in terms of today's game, but we'll find out afterward what happened. Meanwhile, 0-2 on Paul, who's trying to move Martin into scoring position. We'll see if he still tries to bunt. Martin faked the steal, and the throw's going to go to second because Soto didn't want to take a chance, and it looked like it affected Paul as he swung and missed.
It's one of those times where, as a catcher, you cannot see that runner at first base out of your peripheral vision because the hitter blocks your view. I'm sure somebody from that Cubs dugout yelled, "There he goes," when Martin bluffed towards second base, and Giovanni Soto had no choice but to go ahead and throw it down there because he could not see the runner.
Paul had a weird reaction. It looked like he swung late. You might have seen Martin running out of the corner of his eye, but with 2 strikes, you're in a protect mode anyway. 0-1 to Matt Kemp.
I think it was more of a case that Paul got surprised by the fastball from Sean Marshall. He was probably expecting that big breaking pitch and saw the fastball close to the strike zone and took that very tardy swing just to try to foul it off.
Lined into center. Martin is going to have to stop at second. And Bird tosses it back in. Blake with 2 hits. It's now 15 for his last 33. 4 homers. Ball strike.
Well, this is that situation where you'd love to see the ground ball for a potential inning-ending double play, but Sean Marshall doesn't really throw a sinker. His fastball is a fairly pure 4-seamer, pretty straight. Might be able to get a ground ball with that slider down and in. Kind of missed with the curveball up and away.
Well, it's very difficult for a middle reliever, a setup guy, a non-closer and a non-starter, to be in a pitcher of the month race. But if Sean can find a way to get a win today, he would go to 5-0 in May as Blake pulls it foul. You might get my vote.
Yeah. He's been really good. Of course, we get to see him on a regular basis, so we're a little bit biased, but I don't know how you can ask more from Sean Marshall than what he's given in this month.
Line to Derek Lee, and he thought about a throw to second, but Martin is going to get back in anyway. Well, some days all the liners elude defenders. Today it seems like there's been a magnet on the hard hit balls.
Either been hit right at defenders or close enough where they can make some circus plays for outs.
We saw 5 errors last night combined and not a 1 yet here in this one. One and nothing to James Loney. Kick and the pitch. 2-0. Reed Johnson waiting on deck. Marshall would rather just get Loney here and get out of this jam. And he is going to, as Terrio will get it to lead. 2 hits, no runs. Bottom of the 8th. 5 hits for the Cubs, no runs on 2. As John Eli, the starter, is still in there here in the bottom of the 8th. Mike Fontenot came in the middle of the top of the 8th for Jeff Baker. He might have had some vision problems. We're just not sure. And Fontenot will lead off this half inning. Called strike. He has 7 for his last 15. Gotta think we'll see Carlos Marmol get up in this inning, because he might be in a safe spot in the 9th. Veteran Jeff Weaver up for the Dodgers. 1-2 as Fontenot is facing Eli for the first time. If you're thinking about a guy coming into the next inning with 1 out, is when you see a guy get up.
Some guys will get up as the inning commences and just start moving around a little bit, stretching, and then with 1 out in the inning, will get up on the rubber and start to throw their warm-up tosses. That one finally went. Cubs finally got a leadoff man on in the bottom half of the 7th inning when Derek Lee walked to start the inning. Unfortunately, he was immediately gunned down at second base on what appeared to be a broken hit and run play.
Two on the way. That's hooked down into the right field corner for Fontenot. And it's going to keep on rolling all the way to the wall. Fontenot on his way to third. The go-ahead run 90 feet away with nobody out. As Xavier Paul found out, gets a little tricky down there and starts to snake along that wall.
Nice piece of 2-strike hitting right there from Mike Fontenot. Kept his hands back and hooked that changeup down into the right field corner. Right there's where the ball shot by. Xavier Paul lost his glove. Mike Fontenot hustling the whole way. Had a real good look at it down that first baseline. He really did pick up the third base coach, Mike Quaddy. He saw it out of the corner of his eye as he was running from first to second. Made up his mind he was going to make it to third and is there with nobody out.
Infield in against Soto. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Fontenot to watch his third base coach, Mike Quaddy. Marmol up. The 0-2 pitch to Soto. He struck him out. Huge strikeout for John Eli.
They want a changeup.
So now Colvin becomes a key guy in this inning, as he gets his first shot at John Eli. Infield still in. The pitch in tight. Over 2 with a walk last night for Tyler as he played center. inside corner at 88, 1-1.
And in a weird kind of way, the guys that don't start the ball game sometimes have a better idea about an opposing pitcher than the guys that are actually in the lineup. I'm sure Tyler Colvin has spent most of the day in the Cubs dugout, but I'm sure he spent some time up in the video room.
Ground ball, fair! And the Cubs get the lead as Colvin's on his way to second, and Paul has more trouble in right. Tyler Colvin with the RBI triple, or maybe double and an error. We'll see. Doesn't matter. What we know is the Cubs have the lead.
Not really a good pitch to hit, but Tyler Colvin went down and golfed that ball down the right field line. Looked like Loney got leather on it right there. And once again, Xavier Paul having all kinds of issues with that sidewall out there in right field. You saw him try to adjust his angle. At the last instant, that ball hit the wall, got past him. And Tyler Colvin ends up on third base with one out in the inning.
A double and an error on Paul. Well, John Eli is going to be done for the day. His longest outing of the season and his career, 7 1/3. And Jeff Weaver's coming in. The Lexus pursuing perfection. Call to the pen. 1-0 Cubs in the 8th. And authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, thecubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes. Here's a substitute, Jeff Weaver. Well, the infield still in. Tyler Colvin now at third, as he just knocked in Mike Fontenot. Both guys came in late. Terrio bunts, popped it up, and it's caught by Loney. Colvin was not racing down the line, so he might have been doing that on his own. 2 down.
Very odd looking play. Ryan Terrio squared around fairly early that time. He's looking down to third base as if he expected Colvin to be coming down the line. Maybe another missed sign there.
The fact that he went after a high pitch that was out of the zone would also lead you to believe that Terrio felt like he had to make contact. Starlin Castro can't buy a hit.
You know, on that particular play, we won't know till after the game and we get an opportunity to talk to Mike Quaddy and the players, but Tyler Colvin, the runner at third, Mike Quaddy goes over and verbally tells him what's going on before every pitch is delivered, and you'd have to think that he didn't miss the sign, but we'll find out.
The 0-1 to Castro. Now 1-1. He is hitless in the series, but he's lined out twice in this one. Once to the pitcher, the other time to the second baseman. Both highlight reel plays to rob him of a hit. Off the end of the bat, 1-2.
About the only thing you could tell Starlin Castro about his outing today is find a hole. Done his job, squaring the ball up a couple of times, hitting line drives right at Dodger defenders.
Weaver's 1-2, a swing and a miss to end the inning. But the Cubs get the first run of the day, and Carlos Marmol will try to save it for Sean Marshall when we Game Live. Send your questions to pglchicago@comcastsportsnet.com. You could get an answer live on air. Don't miss Sylvania Cubs post-game live immediately following our game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Well, Marshall and Marmol trying to team up. Sean could get the win, and Marmol would get his 11th save if he works a clean ninth. Rafael Furcal is going to bat for Reed Johnson. One ball, no strikes. Call just activated off the DL before Tuesday night's game. 1 for 9 in the series, and he's committed 3 errors at short. 95 and a strike. Justin Miller is up in the Dodger pen just in case. He had his contract selected from AAA Albuquerque, as this morning the Dodgers designated for assignment right-hander Ramon Ortiz. Two and two. Joe Sheehan in the Wall Street Journal this week pointing out that Carlos is on an incredible record pace in terms of strikeouts. There's another one. Wow. Going into today, it struck out about 46% of the batters he has faced. If that holds up over the season, that would be an all-time single-season record.
I hate to laugh, but you really see some funny-looking swings against Carlos Marmol, especially from those left-handed hitters when they don't identify that slider quickly enough.
And it's also been pointed out that the strikeout rate in baseball has been going up. So it's a little easier to find strikeouts. Last year, the highest strikeout rate ever, talking league-wide. Carlos leading the way among relievers and strikeouts. His 2-0 pitch is right in there. 2-1. And Manny Ramirez is on deck. Marmol was the fastest Cub to his 400th strikeout. He did it in just over 327 innings pitched. It's like Soto wants a 3-1 slider, and it misses outside. That's usually how teams get base runners against Marmol. Walks. They rarely hit him. Here comes Manny. Quiet series to this point. 1 for 8 with a walk and an RBI. Hasn't done a whole lot at Wrigley Field in just 7 career games. Off the plate inside, 2-0. Another veteran being used as a pinch hitter. On deck, Garrett Anderson. The only way he wouldn't bat is if Ramirez hits into a game-ending double play. Larry coming out. Bob, I think this year Marmol's wildness has been extremely effective. He hasn't walked nearly as many as he did last year, and guys I mean, we've seen swings and misses like for Call where they've missed the ball by a foot
or more. Yeah. And he hasn't hit nearly as many batters as he did last year either. I mean, it seemed to be a daily occurrence. He has .3 guys already this year, but it seemed like almost every outing last year he'd walk at least one, hit at least one, and then strike out the side to get out of the inning.
Swing and a miss. Most guys, you say, you got to be careful in this spot with Manny Ramirez at the plate, but I can't think of anybody in baseball Marmol would face this year where you would say that, because his stuff is so good. He's going to go at him.
Well, really, the guys you worry about are the patient hitters that don't chase pitches out of the strike zone, guys who can identify that slider quickly and lay off of it. Three swingers, I don't worry so much about them against Carlos Marmol.
A knee buckling slider to make it 2-2. That pitch right there, folks, one of the best in baseball. He struck him out. 2 down.
So when you're talking about, Len, I don't know if that pitch was ever in the strike zone. It started away, worked further down and away, and had a feeble swing from one of the best hitters in the game.
Unlike a lot of Marmol innings, nobody has put a ball in play. 2 strikeouts and a walk. time called. Soto wants to talk it over with Marmol. Garrett Anderson, the batter.
DeWitt has not attempted a stolen base this year. Perhaps the message from Soto was just make him stop over there. In a one-run ball game, that would be a huge 90 feet if DeWitt could find a way to get to second base. Soto just told Carlos, make sure he stops over there.
Anderson taking the first two for strikes. 0 for 1 in this series as a pinch hitter. The 0-2 is outside. Anderson just 4 for 25 as a pinch hitter. Good job by Gio. Keeping DeWitt at first. Cubs looking for their second shutout of this series. And 3-0 2 nights ago. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Cubs win. He struck out 3 in the inning. Carlos Marmol becoming one of the most dominating closers in baseball. Sean Marshall's 5-0 in May, and the Cubs hold on, winning 1-0.
Nastiest stuff we've seen from Carlos Marmol all season. The walk to Blake DeWitt, but otherwise struck out for call to lead off the inning, struck out Manny Ramirez, and then struck out Garrett Anderson to end the ball game. Cubs are fired up.
Their first 1-0 win in 3 years. May 9, 2007 at Pittsburgh, the last 1-0 Cubs victory. Luke Stuckmeyer's on the field. Take it away.
All right, thanks, guys. Here with Tyler Colvin. Tyler, you sit for 8 innings, and you've got to be ready. How do you keep yourself ready in that dugout?
Well, you keep yourself into the game, and you make sure you're stretched and loose around the 5th inning. So each inning comes up, you never know what's going to happen if they want to double switch in the 6th, 7th, 8th, or whatever. So you just got to be ready.
This is a real pitcher's duel. What kind of pitch did he throw you in, and how did you whip it into the corner there?
Well, you know, he started off with fastballs in, and then he went to his changeup, and you know, it was still a pretty good pitch, and I luckily kept it fair.
I thought Mike Quaddy might wave you home there. Were you worried you might have to go for the inside the Parker?
I can't be worried about that. I mean, that's another run. So, no, but right there, you know, I was making sure I was hustling out of the box. And, you know, you never know with that corner down there. It's pretty tricky.
A couple months now in the big leagues. What have you learned about yourself as a baseball player here?
Well, I've learned that, you know, I can compete at this level. And that's the biggest thing about coming up here is you got to know you belong. And, you know, I feel like I do belong. And, you know, with my role here, I'm comfortable with it. And I'm ready to help the team.
All right, thank you very much. Cubs get the series win. Tyler Colvin, the game-winning hit. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Okay, Luke, thank you. They went 2 of 3 in this important series. And the Cardinals are coming in starting tomorrow. And before that, they'll play their final game of their series in San Diego. So that's going to wrap it up for our game coverage. Stay tuned. Sylvania Post Game Live is next.